Cooking.
Right then, brothers. Welcome back to episode 23
Come on.
of the Lifted Lifestyle Podcast. We're in for a good one today. We're kind of just copy and pasting like every pod that we do with some more questions.
Pretty much, yeah.
Maybe we'll think of a different style at some point, but
I think the issue is we've probably not been planning the pods anywhere near as much as we used to.
no.
But I think they've been going way better.
Yeah, they're a bit more relaxed, a bit more chill.
But if we don't get questions one week,
Yeah.
we might be in trouble.
Start stressing in the morning when you've got like a couple of questions.
Shit.
But also, in terms of our life, not exactly been like doing much out of the ordinary, have we?
No.
There's not a whole lot of
Updates to go through,
No.
really.
it's like just standard stuff.
Yeah.
So before we
Other
go
than
on
we're
any-
dieting. Not now, but
yeah,
summer.
that's a little update to be fair.
Yeah.
If you
So-
go back a few pods, we will be seriously
Anti-diet.
yeah.
Now what's happened.
It was
Great.
going to happen realistically.
Yeah. I wouldn't even class it as a diet though. It's
No.
not going to be like
It's a mini cut. It's a little refresh.
I'm just thinking 6 weeks done.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to, but because my rate of gain has been
Excessive.
slightly excessive,
You might want
it's
to.
probably worthwhile. Well, I'm 98 kilos now.
Yeah.
My lowest was like 92.
It's not
Maybe
awful.
91.5.
You finished it, you diet at the start of November.
Yeah,
It's not awful. And you got to remember there was Christmas in there,
that's true.
New Year.
So
It's not
what?
the end
What's
of the
that?
world.
November, December, January, 2/3 of Feb, nearly 4 months, 6 kilos. It's not too bad.
Yeah, well, I'm 10 kilos up.
Yeah, but that
But
is
to be fair, I probably had to, I think probably 4 or 5 of those kilos were probably put on within the first month.
really.
So,
Yeah, the quick rate of gain
Yeah.
post prep. So
Yeah.
what is it after you gained that from the end of that month to now?
it was still pretty quick because I still felt a little bit whack.
Yeah,
But I've probably been around like, I was looking back and I was like 68 kilos in mid-December.
right.
I'm now 69 kilos
That's pretty steady.
and we're in mid-Feb. So,
Yeah,
but because I am going to diet, I am actually probably going to speed it up a little bit.
really.
Yeah, I think pre-diet would like to be maybe like 73.
And how long are you planning on dieting for?
I think maybe like 6 weeks,
Yeah, me
something
too.
like that. I think I'd like to be like 66 to 67 kilos.
Yeah,
And then
that's
as soon as
very doable.
as soon as we get back from holiday, I'm just going to slowly push up.
Yeah,
And I think like last year it was similar when obviously dieted before holiday, but then I had like 3 weeks before where I just reversed my food up loads. And I
Yeah.
was at like 3.5K and I wasn't gaining body weight and I was just looking better and better. So I think a similar thing will happen this year and it'll actually set me up again better just to gain then until
yeah,
like April next year,
yeah.
April, May, and then I'll probably do a bigger diet for summer again.
I think I'll be similar. I mean, if I'm 98 now, by July, I'd like
June.
to... June.
June, I'd say. Pardon me.
By June, if I did just keep gaining, that would be March, April, May, June, 4 months, 4 kilos,
I think that's pretty good.
102. Like, it's not that bad. But if I keep going at the same rate at like 2 kilos a month, by March, for example, end of March, I'll be 100, 101.
Yeah.
Sort of a fine line between whether I actually want to or need to or
Yeah.
not.
I think you just got to go with the flow sometimes, haven't you?
Yeah. So, realistically, I probably will, but it'll be a very quick thing.
Just in and out, yeah.
It might even be 3 weeks,
Yeah.
like really, really tiny, but aggressive. I'll pull off like 1,000 calories.
Yeah, just fully slam dunk yourself.
Yeah, which I think you can do. Like, if you're not lean from your starting point, I feel like you can go pretty aggressive.
Yeah, you can slam yourself. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're going to be fine.
Yeah, especially if like got plenty of training behind us.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to suddenly lose a load of muscle in
No.
3 weeks.
No, definitely not.
So basically, I'll be peeled in about 3
Yeah,
weeks.
So it's going to be peeled for
Easy
holidays.
peasy.
Holly Bobs.
But there's definitely a fine line, like with me. If I lose too much, I'll just start looking really thin.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to push to the point where I'm like too lean.
Yeah.
Really.
My super ideal is like 96. Yeah, 60.
Those lost 40 kilos.
Yeah, that's my ideal. No, like 96, 97-ish.
Yeah.
I like being there.
Yeah, I think that'll be definitely doable for summer. Definitely.
So.
Yeah.
We've got a few poddy woo kiwi woos. Thank you for everyone that keeps asking because it's useful. None from Marston PT this week though.
Yeah, that is stinking.
Where have you gone?
Yeah, that is not good.
losing followers, losing recipes. Do you wanna start off with a?
Yeah, okay. I'll start off with a nice simple one. Mr. Thomas Shipley.
Cheers, mate.
Best protein bar on the market.
Well, Kieran's girlfriend is actually working for Grenade.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh, interessant.
So I'm hoping she might be able to supply some
Yeah.
some bars for the meet this Saturday.
Yeah, that'd be ideal. That'd be good.
Little
Yeah.
present for everyone.
Yeah, that'd be very good.
But we'll see. But I think for me, Grenade, what's it? Salted
caramel.
Salted caramel is up there.
probably
Is that what it's called? The light blue one.
Yeah, salt caramel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of my favourites.
Yeah. I haven't had that many. I think I've only ever had the Grenade ones.
Yeah.
So it would be Grenade. I think any of them are pretty nice, to be fair.
The apparently the best sold ones, B was saying, is the Oreo one is number one.
What, for Grenade?
Grenade
Yeah.
Oreo. Then I think it's salted caramel, and then the white Oreo one.
Really?
But I've not had that, I don't think.
I quite like the I think it's like cookie dough or something. That's
Yeah.
quite nice. Yeah.
No, I'm not a huge
There's
fan
one
of
I
that.
don't like, and that's birthday cake.
Yeah.
That's not
Anything, but if you get protein, even like normal whey protein birthday
birthday
cake, it's
cake.
always
It's
grim.
just what you doing, yeah.
What
It's
even flavour is that? Like
just like
Victoria sponge?
I
Like,
don't
what
know,
are you
yeah,
going
like
for? Yeah.
sprinkles, that's it.
Yeah,
It feels a bit childish.
pretty grim. Another good one is the Fulfill ones are actually good.
I've never had one of them, I don't think.
Yeah, they are good. The salted caramel one's good, and also is it like a brownie chocolate something or other? That's also good. But
Fuck knows.
yeah, they're probably my top picks.
I've never had any of like the like my protein ones or anything like that.
No, I've not. I had the they sell like the protein brownies or protein cookie things.
Cookies. Yeah, I think I've had some of them.
I had one of them the other day. It was actually quite nice.
Yeah,
Heated up in the microwave.
yeah, I can imagine that's quite nice.
Pretty good. But to be honest, a lot of them just make my stomach just feel rats.
Yeah, so I think Grenade, probably any Grenade one.
Grenade salt and caramel, my number one.
Yeah, I probably agree.
I'll go. This is a classic question. I think that goes through everyone's head at some point in the training. I know I used to be obsessed with it. This is from ehenry_947.
Do you know him?
He followed me recently,
Oh, that's nice.
and I thought he wanted coaching, but he actually just accidentally clicked the sticker on my story.
Okay.
But he seems really nice. So, what are your thoughts on high volume versus low volume? It's a classic question.
It's one of them ones, right? When people ask, I'm just like, I don't really care. I generally don't really care.
Yeah.
I do generally just think people should just do what they're going to enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, I think we say this for like everything.
Yeah.
Just do what you're going to enjoy. I do think the low volume approach is better, but only if you can train to like a certain standard.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd probably just say low volume.
Yeah. My high volume versus low volume, it's obviously all relative,
Yeah.
because if we get down to the principles of what's actually growing the muscle, it's some sort of... Bro's so bored of this question.
Sorry, no, I'm not. I'm just tired.
It's some sort of progression, right? And that progression can be taken from adding extra sets and doing lots of sets, which works. Gets complicated with the programming because you've got to tweak things basically every week.
Every week, yeah, you've got to be adding
push things
something somewhere.
So, okay, is that going to do as much as a lower volume approach where you're mostly increasing your volume by getting stronger?
Yeah.
I prefer going for the lower volume and really trying to get stronger, because that's a lot closer to the actual principle of the progressive overload than the higher volume approach.
Yeah.
So my advice would be to have a look at your lifts, actually track them properly, not just like, I think I did like 50 kilos for 10 last week.
Yeah.
You have no idea really. Write it down. And if you're progressing, then you're doing really well and you're doing the right amount of volume. If you're not progressing in terms of your lifts, then something needs to change. You might need to drop your volume, or you might need to eat more, or you might need to sleep better. So go back to the principles rather than focusing on these polarizing topics. Get stronger.
Bloody good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, good answer.
Might reel that up, to be honest.
Yeah, that was good. I feel like bro knew straight away he's gonna reel this thing up.
But yeah, if you're gonna do it, start off with something like 6 to 10 sets per week per muscle group, and then gradually sprinkle some things in if you can get away with it.
I would say as well though, I think it's also important not to be like too far on the low volume side.
Yeah.
To the point where you're like, oh no, I can only do 2 sets.
Yeah.
I can only do 1 set. Like,
yeah, be flexible.
You can definitely do more than you think.
Yeah.
Just test the waters, I think.
Yeah. And then there's kind of a bit of a trifecta between volume, intensity, and frequency.
I keep yawning, sorry.
So, if you've got high volume in one session, then obviously you can't do it super frequently. So look at your volume across a week and then think about the frequency.
Yeah.
And then that's got to be matched with whatever intensity you're training at. So if you're doing 2 or 3 reps in reserve, you can get away with higher volume. If you're doing complete failure, it's going to have to be lower volume. You're not going to be doing
like fucking 5 sets, are you?
Yeah, exactly. But make sure the intensity is at least sort of 4 reps in reserve at an absolute
I just don't
minimum.
The thing that I don't like is I don't get why anyone would want to train like that. You know what I mean? I just don't want to. I can't imagine going into a set. Technical difficulties.
Yeah, sorry, we had a bit of a shocker there. Leo's camera overheated.
Peak.
You were saying you can't imagine going into a set and doing
training reps in reserve.
Yeah.
Can't remember what else I said after that.
I followed on to say it's hard because if you're like close to failure and you're trying to decide whether you should do
it takes
9
away
reps
from the
or
set.
10 reps or whatever.
Yeah, it definitely takes away from the set that you're doing.
Yeah.
And then what did we said something else?
I
think we just rounded it off with saying that the best thing to do is do as much as you can, as long as you're still recovering and progressing.
Yeah.
I think that's like where we ended it on, really.
Stick to the principles rather than random set numbers.
Yeah.
Get stronger. Sound.
So, next one.
Yeah.
Guy. As I was saying, he's back. He's asked another question. Praise the Lords. So, would you rather shag a bird with Elliot's face? So we're going to have to do a pop-up of a really good-looking girl, but with Elliot's face on the top.
Why did I have in my head
like Elliot's face and her body?
Bird? Like a literal... Why did I not think of that?
I don't know, mate.
Anyway, carry on.
Shag a bird with Elliot's face and her body, or a bird with Elliot's body, her face? I know the answer.
Elliot's pretty good looking, to be honest. So.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the bird's body.
I mean...
Imagine a little Robin Redbreast, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think that'd be a bit odd if you chose either. Or just, might like that, but...
Yeah, you could just bag on his head.
Well, Crow's been dieting at the minute, so...
Yeah.
Pretty good rig on him.
Pretty good nick.
Yeah.
Might be nice to look at.
Yeah, can't lie. Doesn't show us anyway, does he? Not seen any...
I haven't seen Elliot's rig since we were in VAR last year.
Never gives us any physique
updates. No. Maybe he should start.
Yeah, get him in the posing room after.
Yeah, force him.
But he Crow hitting a front
Back
dub.
double bar!
So yeah, I agree. Crow's head.
The bird's body.
Like a little pigeon or something, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Moving on.
Kizzer asked, what are some things people don't know about being a brackets good online coach. I don't know what people don't know, to be honest. You got any ideas?
Yes, I think I did. I think we spoke about this again in another pod. I think it might have been last week. I think Marston asked us a question.
Yeah.
I think something people don't know is that when you have a coach, it shouldn't just be like training program, nutrition program.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it in terms of actual like mental support.
Yeah.
And actually helping them with like other aspects of their life, if you can, obviously, if you're in a position to do so. Like you're not going to have like, I don't know, a financial advisor, client, and you're giving them financial advice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think on that as well, it's about like, obviously we've got certain topics that we are really knowledgeable about, at least in comparison to others, general public. But there's certain topics that maybe we help clients with that we're not exactly, the dog's bollocks.
Yeah, we're not
about.
Therapists. Yeah,
but I think having some sort of base knowledge around helping people through those sort of things definitely help. But also, not just spurting stuff and saying it to them as if it's like the gospel, as if it's really, really true. Like if there's ever anything that I'm not 100% sure about, that might be about a different topic in their life, like I don't know. I can't think of any examples, but
I know what you're trying to say. You can almost give like personal experience advice.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to make it clear that it's like it's not set in stone advice that's going to work.
Yeah.
But if you've had a similar issue, whatever, then obviously you can give.
Like for example, like injuries.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not a physio and I'm not a doctor, but I've got like reasonably good knowledge about anatomy and all that. So if there's ever something like that, I'll say, okay, this isn't my area of expertise, but here's what I'd sort of recommend doing. So I guess being a good online coach is being honest about your advice rather than just definitely saying things like this is the hard line of truth. Yeah. And then I'd also say something that goes a bit under the radar is like management of clients as a whole, because if you've got 20 clients or 30 or 40, 50, whatever it might be, it's pretty hard to keep tabs on all of it if you've got loads.
You've got to be on it. You can't just think. I think the main thing that we think about a lot is with the client, obviously they have their check-in, but you need to make sure you've got more points of contact throughout the week.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's a lot of time, obviously, the 7 days where the client could go off plan. And if they're someone who goes off plan and doesn't want to say anything about it at the time, if you're then waiting until their check-in, obviously there's no, like, quick fix.
Yeah.
When there probably could just be a quick fix if you're constantly trying to message them and talk to them.
So if you know a lot about the client, like, sometimes you could get one bit of data from one person and one bit of data from another person, and if you didn't know the person really well, then you'd give the two things the exact same advice. So being able to manage all the people that you're coaching and being able to give like actual personal advice rather than just like, right, here's the exact data, this is what you need to do. Like, it's going to be different for everyone, which is why you need to be very good at understanding a lot of people at once. Yeah,
you've got, and obviously as well, it ties into that, you've got to be like adaptable person to person.
Yeah.
Understand how people think and work and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's quite important, especially when you have clients who are dieting. I think it's easier if you've already had them on for a decent amount of time before they go into their first diet. It's a lot easier then to manage the diet. Yeah. If that makes sense. Like, I think you very quickly can learn from someone like how willing they are to put work in and how much they want to push themselves. Yeah. So I think that is a big factor into things like that.
Yeah. Which is where I think it must get really difficult. You know, let's say you've got 100 clients that you're coaching. I could be wrong because I've never coached that many people. But it'd be very hard to remember everyone's different lives that they live, their
personalities,
work, all of that, without just taking loads of notes and then before every check-in, like reading through who they are.
100%.
I think it'd be really hard to do that with that many clients, which, you know, if you are looking to get a coach, maybe the guy that's got hundreds of clients
isn't the person
might not be the best.
Will fit you the best, yeah.
But at the same time, if you're hiring someone that's got 2 clients, you know, there's probably a lack of experience there. So there's definitely a middle ground.
Yeah.
Depending on what you need.
Yeah, I'd agree.
You know, if you're someone that just needs a program, needs a nutrition plan, like whatever, you'll get that.
Yeah, but if you need extra like one-to-one support, an actual help, I probably wouldn't go for like a sort of big name.
Yeah, I mean, just think about it. If you've got 100 clients, right? If you did the maths, let's say you did a call with all of them once a month.
Yeah,
that's going to be 75 hours on a call, which is like 10 days of work.
Yeah, it's a lot, isn't it?
There's no chance that you're doing that and keeping up with everyone if you've got
you
many.
literally couldn't do it, could you?
Yeah,
I think we've always said that, haven't we? I personally don't ever want to be at that point.
No.
Like, there might be routes around it and stuff like that, but I just can't imagine having to manage that many people.
Yeah.
And still be able to give the same effort to every single person.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So I just felt really ill.
Yeah, I just got flustered. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay, Josh Haywood. I didn't even know you listened to the pod, so thank you, mate. What's the worst drunk message you've ever sent or received?
I don't even know if
I don't think...
Have I sent any bad drunk messages? I don't think so.
I think I've probably always done the classic, like when I was younger, you think you've like got the confidence of bloody, I don't know, and you just think you can message a random bird and just...
Yeah, fling it out there.
Yeah, probably done that back in the day. Received. I remember when I was on holiday with Fred in the Caribbean. I'm not going to out the girl, and no one will know.
I can't remember who it is.
And
but I think I remember.
Basically,
like
at this point, we were sort of chatting. And we'd been chatting maybe like a couple of weeks. Like we'd met a few times, but never like just us two.
Yeah.
And she said something along the lines of, it was like awful. Like she was like, I'm sure she said something like, "Can you ring me? I miss your voice." And something maybe about being in love. And straight away, I just got like the biggest ick. And I don't think we ever spoke after that again.
Sorry, was this what time in the Caribbean was this?
Like years ago.
Yeah, the when you first went with Fred.
Years ago.
I think I remember you telling me about this.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? I was like, that's too weird.
Don't blame them.
Yeah, I don't.
I miss your voice when we usually go away for a day.
True that.
Yeah, that's pretty odd. I don't think I've honestly ever sent any awful or received any awful drunk messages, to be honest. Apart from nothing awful. A few funny ones to look back at. Like in the in Croatia, when Isaac was messaging me because he was fretting about getting an intruder.
Yeah, that's up there. That is a good one.
That is a good one.
Yeah, that was funny.
Basically,
that was so funny.
There was a guy in...
Forgot all about that. That's
hilarious.
So
I've still got the messages on my phone as well. Basically, there's a guy in Makarska that started getting like rowdy with Guy. And yeah, it was obviously going to be Guy. And it started getting rowdy and like he was just saying like absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna come kill you and all this.
Yeah, he's like, I've got a gun, I'm gonna go and get my gun and come and kill you.
It was just like it was all complete rubbish. Like
he was drunk, this guy, wasn't he? You just knew. We were like, I swear we just ended up being like, shut up.
Yeah, like there was even though he was saying these things, it sounds really bad, but there's absolutely zero danger.
Yeah.
But anyway, we get back to the gaff.
And to be fair to Isaac, he was battered.
Yeah.
But it's still funny.
And I get this text message at like 5.
I remember you waking me up. Oh.
And let me see if I can. I'll actually get it up here because this is need to quote him perfectly.
We might have to even out him that much. Pop it up on screen.
Yeah.
Pop up.
Here we go. He said, because I heard him sort of stomping around. This is at 3:30. Okay. I hear him stomping. Oh no, he calls me. He phones me at 3:10. I missed the call because I've just woken up. I said, "You all right, lad?" He said, "Yeah. What are you doing?"
Our free mate, we're just being out. But we're going to sleep.
He said, I said, "Not much really." And he goes, "Worried someone's gonna come and rob us." Not gonna lie. I said, "Yeah, don't worry. We've not got any valuables all's put away." Like he said, the taxi driver was trying to ask exactly where we lived.
Maybe so he could drop us off.
It's probably quite useful, to be honest. I know I get paranoid, but I said, "Yeah, big time." He said, "I swear that guy said he had a gun." I said, "Don't worry, I've locked all the doors. I've locked all the doors." He said, "The one guy threatened to kill. They won't understand that he doesn't literally mean kill." "Are you worried?" I said, "No, not at all." And it just keeps going on. He said, "Yeah, so should I worry? Wish this one's quality. Wish he'd just got knocked out there and then, to be honest."
What was you on about, Guy?
I don't know whether it was Guy or the guy was trying to kill him. And then he goes, "Tempted to go back out all night, to be honest." And then,
why would you do that? You're just an easy target.
This gets to 4:00 now, and he says, "We're leaving." Oh, it's so good. So he ended up actually leaving, and I swear they like walked up a mountain or something. That is so good.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm sure they came back at like 6, 7 a.m.
Yeah, but we just waited till it was definitely safe.
He's walking out into the wilderness, getting away from the guy.
Bro was going to an
So
armed
funny.
robbery.
Just the fact he was worried about the taxi driver. The taxi driver was asking where we need to go.
That's how you know you're battered.
Yeah. So that is a bloody good drug text, to be honest.
Crying.
Oh,
Bloody good question.
my head hurts. Bloody good. Next question.
Yeah, it's your turn.
One sec. You ask yours. I need to ask this. Need to send this message.
This is the last one on Instagram from Big Steve. I don't know who he's trying to target here. Will you visit Turkey when that hairline shifts a bit further back?
This is a tough one, to be honest. Yours is good. Yours
Mine's
is like
fine. Yeah, it is fine.
which I'm surprised with because, you know,
My brother's like bald.
well, he's not bald, but
Yeah, but he can't grow hair, really.
yeah,
He can grow hair, but it's like the thinnest thing ever.
yeah. But yours is like
My hair's thick.
I wouldn't look at you and there's no sign
You wouldn't
of
think anything that, he's
No.
losing his hair. Yeah.
like you got the right trim to protect it, but
Yeah,
even
exactly.
still, if you pulled it back, I wouldn't be like, oh, he's balding. Like that's pretty strong.
It's eye, innit? It's
Mine, on the other hand, is on its way out. It's been on its way out for a good 4 or 5 years, probably.
To be fair, it is doing well.
Yeah,
Like,
I've maintained it okay. It's just when the wind hits me,
You're done.
It's not
you like
great.
chip. You like big chip.
Yeah, but it's not to the point where I'm always like, you know.
No, but I think it's because you keep it shorter now.
Yeah, yeah. It all started when I started coaching. That's weird.
Stress,
Maybe
man.
I'm stressed. But yeah, I've been saving it a little bit with the minoxidil, which is a like topical foam.
Ointment.
Yeah, that basically promotes your hair to grow, but it doesn't stop it from falling out, which is a bit of an L.
Sort of a never-ending battle, isn't it?
Yeah, so considering starting some topical finasteride, which actually stops it from falling out. It basically gets into your hair follicle and stops the DHT from shafting you.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that sort of protocol will help and avoid me having to go to Turkey. But to be honest, would I get a hair transplant at this point? Probably not. Like, I think if it gets like actually bad, I'll just go bald.
It's
I'm
done,
not
innit, then?
arsed.
It's
Yeah.
done. Right.
No one sees an actual bald bloke and goes, he's bald.
No.
Like, what?
You're just like, oh, right.
It's like pretty
Yeah,
normal.
you don't even think about it,
Yeah.
do you?
It's only actually bad if you're balding and you don't go bald.
Yeah, you
And
just
you
need to
don't-
firm it
yeah.
eventually, don't you?
Because, you know, if you actually look like raggedy and like proper thinning, then that's when you look scruffy.
Yeah, that's when people look at you like,
Yeah.
okay, you need to do something about it.
Yeah. 'Cause it's more like the scruffy look that I don't
Yeah.
like. Like just not looking.
Like, you'd rather just have a... Oh, bumming out. You'd
Nice,
rather
mate.
just have, like, a skinhead
Yeah.
or, like, a buzz cut than, like, trying to hide that you're balding and having
Yeah.
really thin hair.
Yeah. Balding and having thin hair is like having a whack beard.
Yeah.
It's like, just shave it off.
It's like me whenever I try.
Yeah. It
It's
just
like,
looks-
Leo, what you doing? Just
Yeah.
get rid, mate.
In my YouTube video the other day, I noticed I didn't shave. And like I just looked dirty.
Yeah, that's the issue, isn't it?
Yeah. But like Crow, he's got it connected.
Yeah, it
so
looks nice on Crow.
so yeah, I think I probably wouldn't do it. I might change my mind later down the line, but
I just
for
think
now.
it's one of that. I just can't see it. Right, okay, it might be a quick fix, but how long is it actually going to fix it for?
yeah,
That's my sort of thoughts behind it.
yeah. If you got your work cut out for you and you're like actually gonna go bald, I think getting a hair transplant probably pushes it back maybe
Yeah.
10 years or whatever.
You're
But
just delaying the inevitable.
at some point, you're gonna be bald. So
And right, it's unfortunate that it's happening to you at this age, but in 10 years' time, like 80% of the
Yeah.
people we know will probably be bald.
it's also like I actually
balding.
think 23, 24 is probably quite normal.
Yeah,
So just go bald. Sorry, Holly.
it's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, but for now, I'll keep going with the minoxidil and potentially add in a bit of finasteride and see what happens. I guarantee though, as soon as I go bald, they're gonna find like the magical treatment to
Yeah,
just like
just
end
grows hair.
balding all forever. So yeah,
Your turn.
I've actually ran out of IG questions.
Shall I ask? I've got some here.
Yeah,
So DC, how do you balance
DC.
your job
DC.
your job and training with your day-to-day life, like seeing your friends and girlfriend, etc.? He asked a similar question last week.
DC did.
Yeah, about balancing coaching clients, but also your own progress.
Yeah.
I think it's a very similar sort of answer.
Yeah, I think it's it's not that hard. First of all,
No.
and I mean, at least in theory, it's not that hard. And I think that's the same with anything. Like, just to pull out a few examples. Like this week, I've got a client that's gone on a work trip to Berlin, I think it is, for a week, and it's like it's going to be buffet meals, and there's not going to be any tracking, etc. Anything like that, whenever you've got a problem like that, in theory, it's quite a simple thing.
Yeah.
So managing your socials, managing your life, managing your friends, seeing your friends, etc., whilst eating. What?
I'm just giggling about the eyes. So it just keeps coming into my head.
But yeah, doing all that whilst eating normally and training for an hour and a half each day, 4 or
Yeah.
5 days a week. It's quite It's quite basic.
As well, like, and realistically, with your client, like, all right, it might be a suboptimal few days.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah. Sort of no stress.
Yeah.
But
I think with us, though, we can manage it. I feel like I can manage it so easily now.
Yeah.
It's not like we're going out every weekend and getting pissed anyway. Like,
yeah.
A lot of people need to, when they're like stressing about these things, it's like, all right, it's an inconvenience, but it's maybe once a month where you're actually going out and drinking.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. General advice is like stress the majors.
Yeah.
And just be tactical about the minors. So, like, have you got all the principles in place to grow and to get lean? Food, make sure it's reasonably good the vast majority of the time. Make sure you're progressing your training. And then when things do come up, like, let's say, like the Nando's that I went to the other day, sort of quite easy to make the right decisions.
Yeah, you can things are so easily manageable. It's just people stress about it so much.
Yeah.
So,
and I guess it does come down to it is experience and having a good headspace. Because some people, like I say, in theory it's easy, but in practice some people will find it harder.
Yeah, I agree.
Like a lad that I was speaking to yesterday, he went to the cinema and he's dieting, and he like had a big old
popcorn.
No, pick and mix tub of sweets.
Go with.
Like, it slaps, right? It's really good. But he was disappointed that he didn't make like the decision that maybe aligns with his goals in that situation. Which is obviously going to slow down your progress, but also I sort of said to him, like, okay, it doesn't really matter. Let's do it slightly differently next time, but let's not stress about the past.
The thing is, in the moment, you always make it way worse than it needs to be.
Yeah.
I'm still guilty of it sometimes. I'll go out and I'm like, in the moment, I'm like, shit, why have I done that? Yeah. And then in a week's time, 2 weeks' time, you're like, you don't even think about it anymore. Yeah. So just don't fucking worry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's more to life than just making sure you're being 100% all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you're going to boil it down to a few things, it's like, you know, around managing your social life, etc. First of all, make sure you've got a routine. From that,
it's just so key to everything. Routine is just key to everything.
So, like, what time are you training? When do you make your meals if you do meal prep? And what time you're sleeping?
Yeah.
Okay. Get that actually written down, because then from that routine you can build in the other things that are happening. So, you know, for example, if you're always having a different routine at the weekend, because a lot of people will be really good Monday to Friday and then the weekend gets sacked off. But, okay, the weekend might not be quite as good as Monday to Friday, or at least an occasional weekend. But if you've got a routine and a structure in place for an off weekend, where, you know, if you're going out for a meal, you know what you're going to be having to eat in the mornings, you know what time you're going to be training, etc. If you already know that, then you kind of got like 3/4 of the day covered to then be able to go off plan and kind of be like, okay, well, I've done everything I need to.
Yeah, I do think as well, it's because the question was sort of related to us, I think we're at a point now where you have to think our progressions do have a result on business. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you do have to lead from the front in certain times.
Yeah.
Which is why we always have that 100% on, 100% off. So I think sometimes actually learning to just say no is a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to shut down every single social occasion, get rid of all your mates and stuff like that, but there's definitely times in the past where I've gone out knowing that I don't actually want to go out.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with not wanting to go out because you want to make progress. But then there's also nothing wrong with wanting to go out and still make progress, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I know it sounds quite broad, but I think a lot of people actually sometimes need to ask themselves, do I actually want to do this?
Yeah.
Or am I just going out because if I don't, my mates are going to be like, oh, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you boil it down to like the like I say, if you know what your routine's going to be on a normal day, you know what your weekend routine is going to be, and you know what like you need to do to get towards your goals, then let's say you do go off plan. Like Sooty the other day, he was saying, I've had a shocker of a day. It was Valentine's Day, and he was like, I've had a couple of pints, shared a bottle of wine, etc. And told me all this, and then I just asked him, okay, if you did it again, would you do anything differently? Do you wish you did anything differently? And his answer to that was no.
Like that's
so fine.
Just stop worrying about these things.
You just know what you need to do to get towards your goals, and then if things come up, you can just ask yourself that question. If the answer's no, then you've done everything you need to do because you've just done what you want to do.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good answer.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just worried about the time we have left on the camera because we've still got a couple more questions and I would like to get them all done.
Shall we have a look?
We'll have a quick look because I think it was like 50 minutes. Right. So is that question covered?
Yeah, I think
just
so.
Routine,
management. Make sure you've got a routine in place for non-on-plan routines as well. So at least you've got something that's like, if you've got no goals to stick to, then obviously you're going to completely sack it off.
You're not going to care.
And then just ask yourself, like, what do you actually want from said situation? And decide on what you want, not what anyone else wants.
Yeah.
Decide what you want to do. And I think that's good.
I think that's well-rounded. Right, a very quick one from Fred. How much do you spend on Starbucks a week?
Bloody too much.
Yeah. I'd say probably
it's not ideal.
Between £8 to £12.
Yeah, probably go 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
I think.
But it's just nice to get out of the house and obviously when you're doing something together, it's nice to be together.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 8 to 12 quid. Bryn, do you not get bored of same food each week when strict on diet? I feel like you're pretty good at mixing things up.
Yeah, I mix it up a lot, which I think for my own clients, like I need to do it a little bit more, especially people like I've made it a point now when I'm on a call to ask like, do you need some more variation? Do you want some more meal options? Or at least ideas for them.
Yeah.
Because the system that I do for myself works really well to have variety of flavour, variety of meals, and still be like on the money.
Yeah. I do think though, right, again, you have to look at the client.
Yeah.
For you, it's fine. Obviously, you're working at home. You can just nip downstairs and make your food.
Yeah.
If you've got a client who's obviously working 9 till 5, Monday to Friday, the last thing I want them to be doing is getting up each morning and thinking, right, I need to make 3 meals here that are going to fit my macros, and they're rushing around the kitchen.
Yeah.
You're less
Yeah.
you're less likely then to actually just stick to the plan.
Yeah.
So I think for a lot of people in general, just having the same foods pretty much every day is a good idea. I think you can, once you've got like a good few months under your belt and you've got a good understanding of nutrition, then it is way easier to be able to manage it like you do.
Yeah.
But I think for someone who is busy and they might not have that much like nutritional knowledge, I think at first it's just best to make sure they're nailing things straight away.
Yeah, get consistent first and then build variety.
Then
I
you
agree.
can sort of go from there.
Yeah.
For me personally, I'm not like you at all.
Yeah, you like to just
I just eat the same thing every single day.
Yeah.
For me, it's just ease of it. I don't really want to think about it. If I'm really thinking one day, I don't want to eat that, then I will change it. But most of the time, I don't even, like now, I don't really think as food as food.
Yeah,
it's just there. I just eat it and it's done. Like, I'm not that bothered.
Yeah, I think for me, it's not like, let's say I've got a meal. I'm not going from some sort of chicken pasta to having like, I don't know, eggs and whatever. Like I'm not doing something completely different.
Yeah, you still got the basic sort of principles for each meal.
There's a skeleton of a structure, and then I just make some swaps. So
go on.
I was just gonna say, like, you've basically got 4 components to a meal. You've got the protein source, the carb source, the fat source, maybe 5, the micronutrition, and then like whatever flavor you do.
Yeah.
So I basically have 4 meals that are built up of one thing from each of those 5 sections, and then I make swaps, maybe one of them per meal.
Yeah.
So, for example, one meal might be, protein source would be chicken, carbohydrate source would be rice, fat source might be avocado, whatever vegetables I choose, and then whatever seasoning I choose. And then the next time, I might keep the rice and the seasoning and the vegetables and everything else the same, but then I'll just change to minced beef.
Yeah.
Or I'll change the carbohydrate from rice to pasta or potatoes or anything like that. And doing like one swap gives you enough variety to not be bored, which, to be honest, I don't really get bored, but it's kind of just whatever I've got in.
Yeah, you just want to,
And then I'll change 1 or 2 of them, and then it's just like, okay, I don't even have to scan this on MyFitnessPal because I know that the pasta is the same as the rice, or the seasoning's not going to be any difference whatsoever, or the protein that I use, I know it's like going to be the same. So build out a skeleton, and then you can easily make swaps to keep it somewhat interesting.
I think the best way to describe it for you is like the skeleton, but also you just have like a pool of foods that you'll use.
Yeah.
It's not like you like this week, I bet so far, you've still had the same foods that you had last week.
Yeah.
You might have just mixed and matched them.
Yeah.
You're not just going to pull like a random carb source out of nowhere, put it in. You've just got that pool of like your protein, carbs, fats.
Yeah.
That you just bring in together.
Like, I'm never going into the shop thinking, ooh, what ingredients do I need to make this meal?
I just couldn't do that. Could not do it.
I basically go into the shops and get the same thing every time.
But you'll just mix and match.
The only time where I'll be like, what do I fancy this week is if I'm at the seasoning section and I'm like, what do I want? Like, what do I want to flavour it with? And then, it gives you plenty of variety.
Yeah.
So,
That's it.
Good cue.
Just hoping we've not gone over.
No, I don't think we are. It's still red. So, hopefully enjoy the pod.
Good pod. I like
Another
that.
good one.
Long one as well.
Be sure to subscribe. YouTube's really clever, and it will be putting a subscribe button here. So click that. And then, wait, maybe it's like somewhere there. And then also there's probably a video somewhere around Leo's head, and it's going to suggest to you another awesome pod. So go ahead and click that and give it a watch.
Cheers.
So hopefully enjoyed. I'll see you next week.
See you.
Bye.